Okay, you love your neighbor, but not the smoke that comes with him or her. They're smokers, cigarettes or otherwise these days. The smell keeps wafting into your home. So how can you keep the scent out? Sean, the air guy, the air quality guy, has some ways to help figure out. He joins us now. Good morning. Good to see you, Mr.
Morning,
Rankin.
Leslie.
Appreciate
How are you?
it. Good. Welcome back, because I think a lot of people will say I can smell not only cigarettes, but I can smell food, for example, and other things, right?
Well, fundamentally, the difference is when you owned your single-family home, you were the master of your own domain. But now you're in a shared multi-family unit, sharing a building with maybe 200 other families, and they may cook differently, they may smoke differently, and there's no chance of stopping that air from migrating into your building.
Let's talk, if we can, technically here, and then we'll give you some simple solutions. What are we looking at here?
So all buildings, big or small, operate as an interconnected system. That is to say, if you make heat in the basement, it migrates all the way through. If you're living in the middle of this pollutant pathway somewhere, you're going to enjoy the air quality that's migrating through that thermal buoyancy.
Okay, and as we move on to the next graphic.
So the engineers that built your building understand that hot air rises. So what they do is they take fresh air from the outside and they push that air and pressurize the hallway. Behind your elevator door, you'll see there's always a large grill that's blowing air into your hallway to pressurize it. Now, sometimes that air becomes obstructed, in which case you don't get the pressure differential pushing your smell out.
So obstructed, for example, people want to seal underneath their door. That's the wrong thing to do.
Yes, typically they don't want to hear people, their footballs walking, so they put weather stripping underneath their door or a large mat, and they stop that airflow from migrating in.
Which actually makes the problem worse.
It does make the problem worse.
Good to know. And this?
So here we have an example of what is happening. This person on this floor has very little airflow. Maybe the mechanical system isn't balanced. That is to say, the air does not migrate underneath their door, and they begin to enjoy somebody else's odor. The gentleman down below has abundance of airflow. His pressure is very strong. That air picks up his marijuana cigarette or his cohiba, and it forces it through this plumbing chase, which migrates it back into my environment.
Yeah, I know we're very technical there. Let's simplify it, because you brought along some examples of what would be typically how it works in a building, right?
Yes, so buildings must have a fire separation. So a fire separation is achieved by building with steel studs. During the construction process, there's the effective leakage area, or leaks and cracks all the way around. Maybe it's the floor, maybe it's a plumbing chase, maybe it's this electrical plug. And what happens, once that pressure is exerted on the side of your building from wind or temperature differential, we have to realize these studs are hollow. So there's our form of communication between your unit and my unit.
Is the construction, the way they put a building together, different? Is that why the problem is?
We're using, good question, we're using steel stud and concrete pan now. We used to use wood, but our buildings are taller. And that taller building creates a much greater pressure differential. So it's really important that the builder effectively seal all the way around these orifices.
Now, if the builder doesn't, and I have the problem, I can call you.
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
What we begin with doing is we measure the pressure differential between your wall. Are you pushing air through? Are you sucking air through? And then we test the hallway, how much air is being pushed into your hallway to create that pressure.
So you know the source of the problem then.
And then we say, we use a smoke pencil, this is theatrical smoke, and we push the smoke pencil around all these means of egress, and then we effectively locate them and seal them up.
So you know where the problem is coming from, or the problem is existing, and how to keep the smoke out.
Yeah.
You also have some great tips.
Well, if you're thinking of purchasing a condo, try to look at the condo during meal time.
It's a great idea. I never thought of that. Of course,
Peak
when people are
occupancy.
cooking, that's when you know if the
Cooking
smell...
is a big odor. And if the building isn't occupied because you're looking at it at 10 o'clock in the morning, you're really not going to have an effective. So use your nose. That's your first indicator. The second indicator is the building maintained with a lot of air pressure? Sometimes older buildings are not.
Okay. And have your mechanical system balanced to push air out and not stuck in your condo.
Exactly.
That's what we're
so
doing
take
here.
a look at your door seal. Are you using a large weather stripping to stop the sound, which is an effective means of stopping that fresh air from coming in from the roof?
Bottom line is there is a solution. If this is happening to you, you can give the guys at Indoor Air Quality Ottawa, Sean Rankin and Company, a call. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. Good advice there.